Bam, focused minds back up in the building, keeping the Lord first and everything else to come together. My man Regis Prograis ready to take on Conor Benn. Regis 30-3, 24 KOs, started in 2012. You know what I'm saying? From New Orleans, Louisiana, a tough, gritty fighter. You know, Regis kind of lost it in these last few fights he had. Lost his steam, lost his belt. Lost to Devin Haney, one of the more notable ones. And Regis back out here ready to fight Conor Benn in the UK. Can he beat Conor? He gonna have to take this fight. He gonna have to go over there and dominate and perform well on Netflix. He gonna have to show that is levels to this. And I just think that it's gonna be a slugfest because Conor Benn is a puncher, boxer, slugger itself, and he a pretty great fighter in his own right. So we'll see this fight. I see this fight playing out as a bang fest, and it's all about Regis' chin. You know, Regis take a lot of damage. His defense got to get better. You know what I'm saying? And he got to work on his conditioning for this fight. Only way he take this fight, he got to steal this fight by out dominating, outscoring Conor Benn. You know, I don't know if this fight even go to distance, but it's possible. If it go to distance, Regis got a lesser chance of winning. You know, he gonna have to at least put Conor on the ground, on the pavement or the canvas, I should say, at least once to take it to the judges to win, But other than that, he gonna have to have a dominant performance, start using his jab more and move his head more, get it off the line, and foot movement better. Regis take a lot of punishment in his fights. His face gets scarred up pretty bad in his fights because he got kind of terrible defense. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna have to work on that with Conor because Conor Benn, he will destroy him in the face, in the body, with power and precision. So it's gonna be interesting this fight. I'm gonna call it. I think if I want to be real, Conor gonna win the fight, but I'm going for Regis in this fight. He got to stay focused. He got to be sharp. He got to have his conditioning up. That's the key thing: conditioning and defense for Regis, and use his jab more. Regis kind of fade out. He liked to go in the pocket. He liked to bang and slug, which he a great banger. He got quick hands. He got quick combinations. He got power. He gonna have to use it though. He gonna have to definitely use it in this fight because this fight gonna require him to give Conor something to think about early on in this fight before it go to them latter rounds. And in them latter rounds, he gonna have to have done some work. Going to the body is gonna be big for Regis to win this fight. And the same for Conor. Conor gonna have to go to the body and definitely to the head. But Regis is known to be chinny too. He could get dropped to the canvas pretty easy, and Conor got the power to do it. So that's something he gonna have to be careful of when he in the pocket, letting them combinations go. But I'm gonna call Regis in this fight because I like him. I like him outside the ring. I like his attitude and demeanor. But he gonna have to go in there and really show that he want to take this fight. As you see here against JoJo, he like to be in that pocket. He like to be in the pocket banging. And that's where Regis gonna have to be careful with Conor Benn because, Conor got a lot more power. Regis in this fight here, he was disciplined using his head movement, defense better. You know what I'm saying? And he could be disciplined using his jab. You know what I'm saying? This is when he could be hard to beat, when he using his head movement, keeping his head off the line, and shooting his jab to work inside to get his killer combinations off, on his opponent. This is how Regis need to fight. Conor, take his time and don't try to make it a all-out slugfest when he get in there with him. Kind of probe him out, shoot his jab, use his head movement and feet movement to get the victory. Conor Benn, a little shorter pit bull type body type. You know, he want a rough, rugged fight. You know, that's what he looking for with Regis. You know what I'm saying? Probably why he picked him as an opponent. And so Regis definitely gonna have to be careful because he can be chinny. You know, Conor like to get inside and let them hands combinations go, heavy combinations, and do work to the body and the head. And he a great inside pocket fighter, and he could be real dangerous if you ain't careful. You see, operating against Eubanks, you know, trying to probe his way in with feints, want to get his switch levels on him, and trying to really get to that body to break that body down. You know, something that Conor good at all the time. You know, once he get inside, he like to let them hands go. You know, this fight here, of course, it was a little more personal for Conor. You know what I'm saying? So he was real anxious. You know, I expect him to be a little more patient with Regis, but in this particular fight here, he was definitely trying to rush into that body, and with Regis, he could run into something very scary. But he definitely wanted to get to Eubanks Jr. and hurt him to the body and come back up to the head for the knockout. But he did get the victory, you know, and so it's gonna be interesting between him and Regis how this really go and how they play the fight. Will it be a slugfest or a chess match? I'm out.
And I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but you do yourself a good, you bring a good I don't want to say product. Product's not the right word, but you're doing a very honorable service. I appreciate that.